Greetings, comrades. Welcome to All Power to the People podcast on Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself Internet Radio via the Huddle Team app. We meet every Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time. We discuss local, national, and global events that impact the material conditions of the people and provide viable solutions. We are here to find those tired of the way their lives are socially constructed. As Panthers, we use dialectic materialism. As Dr. Huey P. Newton stated, power is the ability to define phenomena and make it act in a desired manner. From combating the housing crisis to police patrols, we are the vanguard in place to serve our communities. The purpose of this program is to highlight contradictions in the electoral process, which Western culture calls politics. Politics is the struggle for resources. Participating in America's electoral process has only taken resources from the people and handed it to the oligarchs and the professional managerial class that serve them by maintaining the status quo through coercion. We know that power lies with the people, and it is our duty to organize and educate the community so that they can fight for their own liberation. So please, join us every Sunday at 12 p.m. You can join by downloading the Huddle Team app, join online, or call in. The app and joining online is free, but if you call in, standard messaging rates may apply. Links to the show will be provided in the caption. This is General Secretary Patience of the new Afrikan Black Panther Party, NAB PP North. All power to the people.
Let me see.
A party that gardens together stays together. This is the People's Garden. We are setting up. From help of our good friend, Sergio. It's part of the United Panther Movement. The United Panther Movement are those who believe in our 10-point program, which is basically providing services to the community. Free breakfast program, free food program, free health clinic, pig patrols, and we have programs for the kids, after school programs, summer camps. We do all of this because we understand the importance and the needs of the people. So we're planning the community garden. This is the garden for the people. But we need help. We need help from you guys. So join the United Panther Movement. To learn more, contact General Secretary Patience at 862-283-9917 or email patiencerow@yahoo.com. That is in PATHEROW@yahoo.com. To help support the work we do, please send donations to Cash App, $ I live for the people, or Venmo /Zelle at phone number 862-283-9917. This is General Secretary Patience of the New African Black Panther Party, NAB PP North. All power to the people.
All power to the people. Hey, Captain Patience, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, welcome to Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself. Welcome to Grown Folks Talking. Welcome to All Power to the People on Grown Folks Talking, Express Yourself. Let me see how we're going to do this. We're going to start this off with a little bit of house cleaning. This is not your normal show where we're trying to get you to come in to give us money. We're trying to entertain you. This is for organizers. We're looking for people to help do the work in the community, people that really want to do work in the community to change people's lives. That's what we're here for. We've been reading Miseducation of a Negro for the last 13 weeks, and we're going to continue that now. Well, we're not reading it. We listen to the audio. We listen to the audio. We talk about the audio. And then we use that from the past to compare it to what's going on now and what lessons we could learn. Like the first duty of a revolutionary is to be educated. So if you're not going to go back and read in history and study and learn the mistakes and the accomplishments that we've had in the struggle to be able to be here right now, this ain't the space for you. We're not looking for everybody. We're casting a wide net to find people that are serious, that are sincere about doing the work that we need to do in our communities to change the conditions in our communities. Everybody always talk about it, say the same thing. We have to do this, we have to do that. We're doing it. That's what we're doing. We're doing it. We don't have time to play games and talk about failed strategies. We don't do that here. So let me start the audio.
Chapter 14, The New Program. It seems only a reasonable proposition, then, that if under the present system which produced our leadership in religion...
The real program, if this is your first time here, we're listening to Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. Black History Month that we are all going to be celebrating in like 2 months. He's the founder of that. He's the founder of that, and the purpose of Black history, of knowing who we are, where we come from, is to guide us, to show us where we are going. And this is right after slavery, a few years after slavery, a few decades, probably 40, 50 years when he wrote this, I give it around that ballpark figure, when he wrote this book. And he's talking about a new program, the program that we must take on as a people to be able to achieve what we want to achieve, to control our destiny. That's what he's talking about then. This is 1920s. While he's talking, just try to see if what he's talking about then applies to now, what we're going to now, and what strategies we can use. I'm going to start it over.
Program. It seems only a reasonable proposition, then, that if under the present system which produced our leadership in religion, politics, and business, we've gone backward toward serfdom, or have at least been kept from advancing to real freedom, it is high time to develop another sort of leadership with a different educational system. In the first place, we must bear in mind that the Negro has never been educated. He has merely been informed about other things which he has not been permitted to do. The Negroes have been shoved out of the regular schools through the rear door into the obscurity of the backyard and told to imitate others whom they see from afar, or they've been permitted in some places to come into the public schools to see how others educate themselves.
Let's talk about that. Let's not go too far without talking about what he just said. That's big. He said, we have never been educated. Negroes have never been educated. Never been educated. What does it mean by that? That we've never been educated? Our oppressors, our slave masters have been the one that's been educating us. And they've been teaching us what they want us to know, for us to be able to be beneficial to them. We have never took the leadership role in educating ourselves, in teaching our children what their purpose on this planet is. As soon as they come of age, we usher them into them schools, into the imperialist schools. The schools controlled by the government, the schools controlled by the imperialists that we're supposed to be fighting against. We're supposed to be having a revolution, the movement that everybody's always talking about. We send our children right into those schools for them to learn about Abraham Lincoln, George Washington, to learn about these people, that these were the good people. To learn. He's basically saying back then, in the 1920s and the 30s, that we've never really been educated. From then, from the 1930s to now, how has education changed? How has education changed? The people that continue to educate us, are they the same people? Is it the same institutions that continue to educate our children? I'm talking about yesterday. Well, it's yesterday, Saturday. No, Friday, 2 days ago. Tomorrow, Monday, when you send your children to school, who is educating your children?
The program for the uplift of the Negro in this country must be based upon a scientific study of the Negro from within to develop in him the power to do for himself what his oppressors will never do to elevate him to the level of others. Being without actual education, we have very few persons prepared to help the Negroes whom they have set out to lead. These persons are not all dishonest men and women. Many of them are sincere and believe that they are doing the race some great good in thus holding it backward. They must be awakened and shown the error of their ways. We have very few teachers because most of them with whom we are afflicted know nothing about the children from whom they teach or about their parents who influence the pupils more than the teachers themselves. When a boy comes to school without knowing his lesson, he should be studied instead of being punished. The boy who does well in the beginning of the year and lags behind near the end of the term should not always be censured or ridiculed.
It's a lot there. It's a lot packed in those few lines just now that he was explaining just now. Yeah. I don't even know where to start. I don't know if I should start from the back or from the front. What are our children really learning in these schools? And if a child comes in and he has problems in the school, whose fault is it? Why is he not doing the work? Why doesn't he care about the work that the teacher is giving him to do in the class? Why is he walking out? These are all things that we deal with, that our organization, Black Panthers in North, because we work with the children in the public school, we deal with these issues. They're good 1 minute, like at the beginning of the school year, they're good. Then towards the school year, they start to drop off. Whose fault is that? What do we do as a community to deal with that? Like, this is what they was talking about in 1920, in the 1930s. It's the same situations that we're going through right now in the same institutions. I want to play that back a little bit. I know. I ain't going to do this that much, but I need to play that back a little bit.
Them with whom we are afflicted know nothing about the children from whom they teach or about their parents who influence the pupils more than the teachers themselves. When a boy comes to school without knowing his lesson, he should be studied instead of being punished. The boy who does well in the beginning of the year and lags behind near the end of the term should not always be censured or ridiculed. As a rule, such children are not responsible for their failures. Their parents and their social status account mainly for these shortcomings. The Negro teacher then must treat the disease.
The Negro teacher must treat the disease rather than the symptom. Like sometimes when you read historians, because we're not in the same time, we're in a whole different space. It's 100 years later. He believes these teachers must be woken up. I mean, there's no problem in disagreeing with people that you study, because time goes by and you get more information and there's more data in that they didn't have to be able to make an analysis. Yo, these teachers are here to make a paycheck. It's not that they don't know that these curriculum, what they're teaching in school, what they're doing in school, what they're doing is not working. It's not they don't know that. They have 40, 50, 60, 70 years of data showing them it doesn't work. That is not what that institution was meant for. That institutions were meant to socialize, to produce people that can be used to maintain the institutions the way that they are. They're not trying to liberate those minds. The schools in our communities have been failures. I'm talking about children reading at the 5% proficiency, doing math at a 6% proficiency, 20%. Nothing over 40. Nothing in North New Jersey. There's no proficiency over 40. Proficiency is just the bare minimum. These teachers understand what's going on. The politicians, most of the people that work in these institutions, they understand what's going on. I disagree with Carter G. Woodson that you have to change those people's minds. You're not going to change their minds by and large, because their paychecks, their mortgage depends on them getting that paycheck from the government. So they're not going in to change the whole system, Carter G. Woodson. And but then right after he says that the children that are failing, whatever, that are doing bad, like you can't blame them. It's about class and their parents. You see, but what Carter G. Woodson don't understand is in today's world, our children spend more time in the school than with their parents. Think about it. Because we all have to work. Most parents go to work. They see their children maybe 2 hours, maybe 3 hours a day if they're lucky. If they're lucky, you go to work early in the morning, your child goes to work. Sometimes the parents leave for work before the child leaves for school. You come back maybe 6, 7 o'clock at night, fix something to eat, get them ready for school. 7, about 8, 9, they already in the bed going. You don't even see them. You don't even have time. This is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you're working 7 days a week, you don't see the children, but they're in those schools for 7, 8, 10 hours a day, and they're around those teachers. And then the kids come home, they're reading at a 5% proficiency level, doing math at a 6% proficiency level. Then they turn around and they blame the parent that has to go work 2, 3 jobs to put their kids in that school, to pay taxes, to pay the teachers that are around the child for 10 hours while the mother or the father is out trying to find a way to keep a roof over their head. That's the conditions in our community. And then we blame the parents. Everybody act like it's just cool, like it's okay, it's natural for the schools to be failing at this level and nobody's saying anything about it. There's no uproar. Nothing. It's just the norm now. This is how society has this is the level. This is the level that we at in society. I be trying to watch my words. I don't want to use profanity on here. I be trying to speak. But look, this is where we are at. This is where it is dropped at. This is where it's okay in our schools for them to be at a 5%, 6%, 20%, graduation rate less than 50%. This is okay in our community now. It's just normal now. Nobody says nothing. There's no uproar, nothing about it. That speaks volumes to where the society has come to, where we are as a people. It speaks volumes that this failure of this institution is just allowed to go on like nothing has happened. Nobody talks about this anyway. Nobody talks about the schools, about the public school system. There's no conversation nowhere. Nowhere. And Carter G. Woodson is telling you that child that's not doing good in school, you got to look at the parents and you got to look at the class. And I'm telling him in 2024, the parents don't really spend that much time with the child. And in reality, the parent is less educated than the child, because those same schools educated the same parents and failed those parents. These are the conversations that we don't have, because most of the people that speak for us work in these schools. They're the ones that have the platform to come out and speak and say what we know, what we don't know, what we should know. They're the ones that have those conversations. Nobody really speaks to us.
Rather than its symptoms. But can you expect teachers to revolutionize the social order for the good of the community? Indeed, we must expect this very thing. The educational system of a country is worthless unless it accomplishes this task.
And we're here to say we can't expect it. It hasn't happened. They haven't done it. We cannot expect, if we living in this community, if you living in a community like Newark, New Jersey, you all around, and you live in a community where it's high poverty. There's a lot of black people, Spanish people, people of color that live there. You know what it is. You cannot expect the middle class people in those communities to do anything for you. We're telling you, as Panthers in the communities, we have to do it ourselves because that's what we do. We feed ourselves. We have our own after-school programs. We help people with housing. You cannot rely on these people in these institutions that's put here by the people that's oppressing us for them to do anything to help us. It's more of us than them. You have to remember that. They just come in, drive into our communities and work, drive and leave back out. It doesn't matter the race. Like, enough. Race, black. But we're not talking about class. Because all the people that's administering the Novocaine, the suffering in our community, they look like us. They look just like us. And we're here, I disagree with you, Carter G. Woodson. You cannot depend on those people. And it is not because they don't know any better. It doesn't benefit them financially to stand with the people. So they stand with the oppressors so they could go live in their suburb homes. That's the reality we're dealing with today.
Men of scholarship and consequently of prophetic insight must show us the right way and lead us into the light which shines brighter and brighter. In the church where we have much freedom and independence, we must get rid of preachers who are not prepared to help the people whom they exploit. The public must refuse to support men of this type. Ministers who are the creation of...
Back then, in the 20s and the 30s, ministers were like the politicians. We're like the academics. We're like the professors. Like today, these are the people that they give platforms to speak and to miseducate the masses of the people. These are the academics. These are the people that they say are the smart ones, the best of our communities. We not in 1930s no more, Carter G. I mean, it's like nobody really even respect the ministers anymore. It's still some holdover people from like 70, 80 years ago that still practice that culture of being a preacher, having a pulpit to be able, to speak to the community every week, to be able to condition them according to those that are funding you, what they want you to tell them, they want you to tell them or explain to them why society, why their lives are the way it is. Because this is not a new hustle. It's always been here. And he's going on to tell you, like, we don't need preachers that just come into the communities and lie. We don't need them at all. In 2024, we don't need them at all. They're not doing nothing in our communities. They're part of the problem. The data is in on them. All the churches from every city, all of them, all across from East Coast, West Coast, North, South, wherever you want to go, you put all those churches together on every corner, on every block. Put them all together, all the denominations, all the different religious sects. You add them all up, and what you get is what we have today. People living on the streets. We're worse off now than we've ever been, economically, wealth-wise. 60 years ago, you telling people in the community that their children are reading at a 6% proficiency, like they will go, everybody would be up in arms. It's normal now. Because those preachers, those politicians, these people that he's saying we should remove from our communities, these people have been in power all this time. They've been the one dictating how our people would move, where we would go, what we should do. Voting. They're giving us ideas like voting. supporting these institutions instead of building institutions in our communities. All those churches from everywhere, from coast to coast, none of them have schools where they're teaching our people in our community to do anything. None of them teaching our people to liberate themselves. What is the use of them? You go outside, you can't throw a rock in no head of church. A Mass J. But how is the condition on the ground changed?
Of the old educational system must be awakened, and if this is impossible, they must be dethroned. Those who keep the people in ignorance and play upon their emotions must be exiled. The people have never been taught what religion is, for most of the preachers find it easier to stimulate the superstition which develops in the unenlightened mind. Religion in such hands, then, becomes something with which you take advantage of weak people. Why try to enlighten the people in such matters when superstition serves just as well for exploitation? The ministers with the confidence of the people must above all things understand the people themselves. They must find out the past of their parishioners, whether they were brought up in Georgia, Alabama, or Texas, whether they are housed under desirable circumstances, what they do to make a living, what they do with their earnings, how they react to the world about them, how they spend their leisure, or how they function along with other elements of the social order. In our schools, and especially in schools of religion, attention should be given to the study of the Negro as he developed during the antebellum period by showing to what extent that remote culture was determined by ideas which the Negro brought with him from Africa. To take it for granted that the antebellum Negro was an ignoramus or that the native brought from Africa had no valuable culture merely because some prejudiced writers have said so does not show the attitude of scholarship, and Negro students who direct their courses accordingly will never be able to grapple with the social problems presented today by the Negro Church. The preachers of today must learn to do as well as those of old. Richard Allen so interpreted Christianity anew to his master that he was converted, and so did Henry Evans and George Bentley for other whites in North Carolina and Tennessee. Instead of accepting and trying to carry out the theories which the exploiters of humanity have brought them for a religious program, the Negroes should forget their differences and, in the strength of a united church, bring out a new interpretation of Christ to this unwilling world. Following the religious teachings of their traducers, the Negroes do not show any more common sense than a people would in permitting criminals to enact the laws and establish the procedure of the courts by which they are to be tried. Negro preachers, too, must be educated to their people rather than away from them. This, of course, requires a new type of religious school. To provide for such training, the Negro Church must get rid of its burdensome supervisory force. If the number of bishops of the various Negro Methodist churches were reduced to about 12 or 15, as they should be, the amount of $100,000 or more now being paid to support the unnecessary number could be used to maintain properly at least one accredited college. And what is now being raised here and there to support various struggling but starving institutions kept alive by ambitious bishops and preachers could be saved to the people. With this money diverted to a more practical use, the race would be able to establish some other things which would serve as assets rather than as liabilities. We say liabilities for practically all of our denominational schools which are bleeding the people for the inadequate support which they receive are still unable to do accredited work. There are so many of them that one impoverishes the other. Outstanding men of the church, therefore, have to acquire their advanced education by attending other schools in the beginning or by taking additional training elsewhere after learning all our denominational schools can offer. This is a loss of ground which should be regained if the church is to go forward. By proper unification and organization, the Negro churches might support one or two much-needed universities of their own. With the present arrangement of 2 or 3 in the same area, and sometimes as many in one city, there is no chance for emerging from the trying, poverty-stricken state. And even if these institutions could do well what they undertake, they do not supply all educational needs. To qualify for certification in the professions, Negroes must go to other schools where, although they acquire the fundamentals, They learn much about their inferiority to discourage them in their upward struggle.
Excuse me. What he's talking about right here, he's using the churches because those were the only organizations that were in the communities, in our communities, that most of our people went through and were used to socialize the people in our communities. In 2024, churches are not that impactful in our communities no more. We have to build these organizations in our communities to be able to reach the people in the community. You keep hearing them saying church over and over and over because the church was such a big like what's the word I'm trying to use? I don't know, right? I can't think of the words to use right now. But the church had such an impact on the community that you could not measure. It was so huge because every single person in the community, it was part of the culture. It was like in the air. Believed, like they believed in the scriptures because this is what they were given through slavery to explain everything from birth. And it was so powerful in our culture. Like you couldn't see past the church. Your Carter G. Woodson would be shocked to see the society the way it functions today. It's some children that have never even been to church. My children have been to church, but people don't even read the Bible no more. There's no Sunday school. People don't go. There's Sunday school. There's churches out there, but by and large, people really don't entertain these institutions anymore. The telephone, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Kids are more influenced from those spaces now than they don't even think about the church. But those institutions were huge in our communities in the 30s, in the 20s, right in slavery. This is all people really had to hold on to, the masses of the people. That's all they really had to hold on to. And that's why you keep going to the church over and over, saying the preachers, we have to go through this. Now, they've been weighed and measured. And we see what the churches are about. The churches are not a revolutionary organization. They're not here to overturn the system and bring people to the light. That's not what they're here to do. We must create those organizations. That's the lesson that we learned from what Carter G. Woodson is trying to tell us. Like, these institutions must be created in the community. We can't send our children to their schools. He said like the churches were not credited, and the people that the churches educated had to go to other schools to get their accreditation. But he said the churches should be the first step. The churches in the community should be the one that educate the people in the community. We must create those institutions. It's not impossible. It's not hard. We have an after-school program. We're working with kids every day. We're making sure they read. Read what? Read Fred Hampton. Read about our history. Understand who the FBI is. Understand what government they're in. When they're pledging their allegiance, understand who they're pledging their allegiance to. Understand where they come from. For them to be able to ask themselves, who should their allegiance be pledged to? The people or the United States government, the United States of America? Because that's what they tell them to do in school. When you send your children off to school every day, they're going in to pledge their allegiance to the United States government, to America. Is that what your child should be pledged the allegiance to? Our children pledge their allegiance to our people, to the struggle, to the liberation of our people. That's what their allegiance is towards. Their minds are not all screwed up. They don't have on a social path where they're pledging allegiance to a nation that's had them under bondage forever. That's been oppressing them forever. That's not who you go pledge the allegiance to. That went to your motherland, raped, steal, pillaged. These are the people that you pledge the allegiance to? Nah. But if you're miseducated, that's what you do. Then you raise somebody that has no idea who they are, where they come from, what they should be fighting for. And they're the one that come to your house to lock you up or drag you out your home when that landlord said you should be legally removed because they don't know who they are.
We should not close any accredited Negro colleges or universities, but we should reconstruct the whole system. We should not eliminate many of the courses now being offered, but we should secure men a vision to give them from the point of view of the people to be served. We should not spend less money for the higher education of the Negro, but should redefine higher education as preparation to think and work out a program to serve the lowly rather than to live as an aristocrat. Such subjects of certitude as mathematics, of course, would continue, and so would most of the work in practical languages and science. In theology, literature, social science, and education, however, radical reconstruction is necessary. The old worn-out theories as to man's relation to God and his fellow man, the system of thought which has permitted one man to exploit, oppress, and exterminate another, and still be regarded as righteous, must be discarded for the new thought of men as brethren and the idea of God as the lover of all mankind. After Negro students have mastered the fundamentals of English, the principles of composition, and the leading facts in the development of its literature, they should not spend all of their time in advanced work on Shakespeare, Chaucer, and Anglo-Saxon. They should direct their attention also to the folklore of the African, to the philosophy in his proverbs, to the development of the Negro in the use of modern language, and to the works of Negro writers. The leading facts of the history of the world should be studied by all, but of what advantage is it to the Negro student of history to devote all of his time to courses bearing on such despots as Alexander the Great, Caesar, and Napoleon, or to the record of those nations whose outstanding achievement has been rape, plunder, and murder for world power? Why not study the African background from the point of view of anthropology and history, and then take up sociology as it concerns the Negro peasant or proletarian who is suffering from sufficient ills to supply laboratory work for the most advanced students of the social order? Why not take up economics as reflected by the Negroes of today and work out some remedy for their lack of capital, the absence of cooperative enterprise, and the short life of their establishments? Institutions like Harvard, Yale, and Columbia are not doing these things, and educators influenced by them to the extent that they become blind to the Negro will never serve the race efficiently. To educate the Negro, we must find out exactly what his background is, what he is today, and what his possibilities are, and how to begin with him as he is, and make him a better individual of the kind that he is. Instead of cramming the Negro's mind with what others have shown that they can do, we should develop his latent powers that he may perform in society, a part of which others are not capable. During his life, the author has seen striking examples of how people should and should not be taught. Some of these are worth relating. Probably the most interesting was that of the missionary work in China. In 1903, the author crossed the Pacific Ocean with 26 missionaries who were going to take the Orient by storm. One Todd from North Carolina was orating and preaching almost every day to stimulate his co-workers to go boldly to the task before them. Dr. DeForest, long a missionary to Japan, informed them that the work required more than enthusiasm, that they could not rush into the homes of the natives saying, "Peace be to this house," for it might turn out the other way and give somebody the opportunity to say, "Peace be to his ashes." Dr. DeForest explained to them how he chose a decidedly different course, preferring first to study the history, the language, the manners, and the customs of the people to approach them intelligently, and not until he had been in the country 4 years did he undertake to exhort. But after that time he had great success and had been invited to preach before the Mikado himself. Now Todd did not take his advice, and he had not been in China 5 months before he and his wife had been poisoned by their native cook, who had become incensed at the way they interfered with the institution of his people. Another striking illustration was the education of the Filipinos. Not long after the close of the Spanish-American War, the United States government started out to educate the Filipinos overnight. Numbers of highly trained Americans were carried there to do the work. They entered upon their task by teaching the Filipinos just as they had taught American children who were otherwise circumstanced. The result was failure. Men trained at institutions like Harvard, Yale, Columbia, and Chicago could not reach these people and had to be dismissed from the service. Some of these scholarly Americans had to be maintained by the subscription of friends until they could be returned to this country on government transportation. In the meantime, however, there came along an insurance man who went to the Philippines to engage in business. He had never taught at all, and he had never studied authorities like Bagley, Judd, and Thorndike, but he understood people. Seeing that others had failed, he went into the work himself. He filled the schoolrooms with thousands of objects from the pupils' environment. In the beginning, he did not use books very much, because those supplied were not adapted to the needs of the children. He talked about the objects around them. Everything was presented objectively. When he took up the habits of the snake, he brought the reptile to the school for demonstration. When he taught the crocodile, he had one there. In teaching the Filipinos music, he did not sing, "Come Shake the Apple Tree." They had never seen such an object. He taught them to sing, "Come Shake the Lomboy Tree," something which they had actually done. In reading, he didn't concentrate on the story of how George Washington always told the truth. They had never heard of him and could not have appreciated that myth if someone had told them about it. This real educator taught them about their own hero, Jose Rizal, who gave his life as a martyr for the freedom of his country. By and by, they got rid of most books based on the life of American people and worked out an entirely new series dealing with the life of Filipinos. The result then was that this man and others who saw the situation as he did succeeded, and the work of the public schools in the Philippines is today the outstanding achievement of the Americans in that country. We do not mean to suggest here, however, that any people should ignore the record of the progress of other races. We would not advocate any such unwise course. We say, hold on to the real facts of history as they are, but complete such knowledge by studying also the history of races and nations which have been purposely ignored. We should not underrate the achievements of Mesopotamia, Greece, and Rome, but we should give equally as much attention to the internal African kingdoms, the Songhai Empire, and Ethiopia, which through Egypt decidedly influenced the civilization of the Mediterranean world. We would not ignore the rise of Christianity and the development of the church, but we would at the same time give honorable mention to the persons of African blood who figured in these achievements and who today are endeavoring to carry out the principles of Jesus long since repudiated by most so-called Christians. We would not underestimate the achievements of the captains of industry who, in the commercial expansion of the modern world, have produced the wealth necessary to ease and comfort, but we would give credit to the Negro who so largely supplied the demand of labor by which these things have been accomplished. In our own particular story, we would not dim one bit the luster of any star in our firmament. We would not learn less of George Washington, first in war, first in peace, and first in the hearts of his countrymen, but we would learn something also of the 3,000 Negro soldiers of the American Revolution who helped to make this father of our country possible. We would not neglect to appreciate the unusual contribution of Thomas Jefferson to freedom and democracy, but we would invite attention also to two of his outstanding contemporaries, Phyllis Wheatley, the writer of interesting verse, and Benjamin Banneker, the mathematician, astronomer, and advocate of a world peace plan set forth in 1793 with the vital principles of Woodrow Wilson's League of Nations. We would in no way detract from the fame of Perry on Lake Erie or Jackson at New Orleans in the second struggle with England, but we would remember the gallant black men who assisted in winning these memorable victories on land and sea. We would not cease to pay tribute to Abraham Lincoln as the savior of the country, but we would ascribe praise also to the 178,000 Negroes who had to be mustered into the service of the Union before it could be preserved, and who by their heroism demonstrated that they were entitled to freedom and citizenship.
Even that last part, that we were entitled to freedom and citizenship, He's telling you, like, people even went through the war. People went to the people fought in wars to become citizens. That's part of all the strategies that we have tried to implement as a people to be citizens or be seen as citizens or equals in this society. None of it had worked. Going to war, going to the Spanish-American War, going to the Civil War, none of that. Revolutionary War, none of that. We in 2024, none of it has worked. None of it has made them see, made the imperialists see, because it's not a different people, it's the same people. None of it has made the imperialists win. Imperialists see that we deserve to be seen as equal. None of it. No going to their wars, no going to their schools, none of it. And we're at the space where it's not time to go back and fight those old battles. And if we go to school, if you graduate, if you go to Harvard, if you go here, if black people just did this, none of that. None of it is going to work. The only thing we can do is organize our own communities to liberate ourselves, period. All those ideas have failed. They have not worked. They haven't. Just keep your nose down, go to school, get your education. What education? This school is horrible. This school is horrible. Like I said, we have the data. And he's telling you, he's not just speaking just to be speaking like one of these people that call themselves academics, never did nothing, never been nowhere. He's telling you, I believe he said 1903. Just imagine, put that in your mind. That's 30 years after slavery. Around 30-something years after slavery. Carter G. Woodson, a black man that worked in the coal mines. His parents were slaves. He was on his way to go to China, to go to the Philippines, to go teach over there. That's the kind of academic we had back then. Like these minds, these people that wanted to really move our people forward. That's the length that he went to go get educated on how to come back and serve us, to put this book together. Everything he did, going to the Philippines, learning about teaching, how you teach the people, how people learn, all of those things he did, that was before he wrote this book. He went and accumulated all of that knowledge and put the book together, The Miseducation of a Negro, to tell us how we got miseducated, what we must do. The title of this chapter is what program, the new program that we should take on, what we should do. It still fits to today. We must organize and teach our own children. We cannot allow these people to teach our children. But how much longer? How much more long? Another 100 years? We have to try go into the military. We're going to try another 100 years to get this right. We can't start to put institutions together in our community. That's impossible. And it seemed like it's hard. It seemed like it, but it's really not. Because most of the time when you get into organizations, all you do is have meetings. You're not doing no heavy lifting. You're having meetings. You're meeting with people that you want to be with, that think the same. I don't think like having meetings should stop anybody from having having a revolution. If all you have to go to is meetings to change the conditions in our community, meetings. That's all you got to go to, meetings. What do I mean by meetings? So you want to do something about the schools. The children can't read. So we have a meeting. How many of us in the organization, how many of us are interested in having a meeting? We sit down and have a meeting and we say, you know what? Yo, let's start our own after-school program. Let's go out and get as many kids as we can, and we bring them in here, and we show the people that we can do this ourselves. Put it into practice. Have the children show the work, show the children, show how their grades and all of that, get better from paying attention, from monitoring them, from helping them with their homework. It could be done. It is done. It was done. Imagine it's over 300-something thousand people that live in Newark, New Jersey. Imagine if 100,000 of them work together like that to build institutions in the community. You think we can have institutions in our community? Because you've been miseducated. You've been miseducated to not know the power that we have. So what everybody been talking about? I'm going to drop that. So what everybody been talking about? What's been in the news going around? Been about Biden. About Biden giving our pardon to his son. What else did we talking about? Oh, the guy that cut off homeboy TV in New York. Cut off his TV on camera for everybody to see. The CEO of the health company. Dude walked up and popped him. We about to go over that. We about to go through that. But while we going through that, just think about that and how it applies to everything that Carter G. Woodson just said. The first video I'm going to play, you're going to listen to Biden. This is Biden when he was in the Senate. And you're going to listen to Biden saying what should be done with people that's caught with drugs. Not people that's even selling it. Not people that's even making it. Not people bringing the drugs across seas. Biden is talking about when he was in the Senate, his whole political career. This is what he stood on. He's about to tell you right now what should happen to these people. Why am I here first?
Grab a piece of crack cocaine, no bigger than this quarter that I'm holding in my hand, $1/4 of $1. We passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says if you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years. You get no probation. You get nothing other than 5 years in jail. Judge doesn't have a choice. Under our forfeiture statutes, the government can take everything you own. Everything from your car to your house, your bank account, not merely what they confiscate in terms of the dollars from the transaction that you just got caught engaging in. They can take everything. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society. They are in jail. Away from my mother, your husband, our family. So I don't want to ask what made them do this. They must be taken off the street.
Yo, that's Biden. That's Joe Biden. That's the kind of politician he was. Dude, that's our community that he was speaking about. That they came in there, they flooded the community with drugs because there was no jobs. They knew people, they have nowhere to work. You know, they took out the factories, they took all the jobs away. So the same government came in there and brought drugs and put them in this community. They gave drugs to all these people that they be talking about. All these people that they be looking up to, Big Meech, Frank Lucas, all these people that the government gave drugs to serve in our communities. And then they came back and they locked up the whole community and locked those people up too. This is not something that I'm making up. I'm just saying this is common knowledge in all our communities that the government put drugs here. The same government that Biden was part of. And then he stand up in the Senate and said if anybody's caught with those drugs, they should take away everything. Take all their life away. Everything they own. Destroy families. Separate families. Because they talk about separation through immigration. You know, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, they separated our homes. Right here, in our communities, they separated. Sent the men off to prison. Then the single mothers that were here, that got them on welfare. And then they told them, do not allow that man to come back into the house because he sold drugs in that community. They strategically targeted our families to separate our families and break them up using drugs. The same drugs that they put in the community. And then now his son is found guilty. Smoking crack, driving, prostitution, all kind of stuff they found this guy guilty for. And then he pardons him. And I'm going to show you video of people over and over, Democrats, political whatever, operatives. Because that's what they are. They're political operatives, given these platforms to sit here and miseducate the masses of the people. No character, no integrity. But first, I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show, because like, I could wait till I finish showing you all these videos to explain to you how we make decisions as an organization. As an organization, we have ethics. We have rules that we abide by. It doesn't matter who it is. We all abide by these rules. Let me go back. Let me go back and show you real quick. This book, this is Kamal Franklin. He's about to talk about a book real quick. He's anyway.
Just like the rest of us. And then last,
Damn, you gonna make me start reading.
Mao, A Life. So I got me a little better Mao book, and I just started on this one. But this one goes in deep on Mao the organizer. You know, what Mao did in the community, what Mao did to sort of fight oppression prior to becoming the person that folks know as Mao, in terms of, like, you know, being the leader of the Communist Party. A lot of the early part of this is Mao really getting deep into his organizing bag, and coming to his politics and doing the stuff on the ground. And again, the Communist Party is being a political project, right? They weren't trying to, you know, start a business. They weren't trying to do social service work. Like, they were organizing people in different ways in order to create revolution. And so this shit is hot. Yeah. All right, I'm done.
I just want to show me, just let me know when you read the chapter where Mao talks.
Well, it cut it off before he could finish. But it's okay. You heard what he was talking about? Yeah, he held that book up with Mao. As Black Panthers, we are Marxists and we are Leninists. We follow the Marxist theory. We follow a lot of teachings and writings by Mao. The part that always bugged me out is like people like Kamal Franklin, people like Jared Ball, all these people. They talk about all of these books. I'll be wondering, like, do they read them? Because if you read these books, the things that you say out your mouth, the analysis that you make, or if you believe what you're reading. Because I don't know if they just read it to be reading it. You see, because when we read Mao, we take in what he's reading. It's a scientific experience, and it's not just for entertainment. We're not just reading it to say, like, I read it. If you read Mao and you study Mao, and he said Mao was doing all this work in the community, organizing the community, you know, they had to come up with ways in how to combat liberalism, how to combat the things that Biden is dealing with. Because we follow the teachings of Mao. We know what Mao taught. Listen to this.
We stand for active ideological struggle because it is the weapon for ensuring unity within the party.
We stand for active ideological struggle. It is a weapon to ensure unity within the party. Active ideological struggle, where if you disagree with me, if you disagree with something we're doing, bring the evidence, bring the data, bring the reason why you disagree, bring it to the table, and then we talk about it, and we come to a solution. Whoever is right, that's the way we go. We stand for active ideological struggle. Like, there's no God here. No one person makes the rules.
And the revolutionary organizations in the interest of our fight. Every communist and revolutionary should take up this weapon. But liberalism rejects ideological struggle and stands for unprincipled peace.
Liberalism stands for unprincipled peace. Liberalism don't want to deal with ideological struggle. That's not what liberalism. Democrats, liberals, whatever they call themselves today, progressives, like the people that are on Biden and them side, the liberals, whatever they do not stand for ideological struggle. They stand for unprincipled peace. So you feel some type of way, I feel some type of way. Let's just be phony and act like everything is good, and we just go ahead and just do what we're doing. He's saying no. That's going to destroy the whole organization. That's what Mao is saying. When we say we study from Mao, we follow the teachings of Mao, that's what we're talking about. No. Don't quiet people. Don't tell people not to speak. Don't tell women. Don't tell gay people. Don't tell men. Don't tell whoever. Don't tell whoever that they don't have the right to speak. No, we stand for ideological struggle. What do you have to say? What is the evidence that you have to prove that what you're saying is what we should be doing so we can move in that path for the benefit of the organization and what we're trying to accomplish? Because the main goal, the purpose of everything we're doing is what we are trying to accomplish, not our own selfish wants or desires.
Thus giving rise to a decadent Philistine attitude and bringing about political degeneration in certain units and individuals in the party.
That's liberalism. That's what liberalism does. It brings about decadent or whatever. It destroys the organization. That's what he's saying.
And the revolutionary organizations. Liberalism manifests itself in various ways. To let things slide for the sake of peace and friendship when a person has clearly gone wrong, and refrain from principled argument because he is an old acquaintance, a fellow townsman, a schoolmate, a close friend, a loved one, an old colleague, or old subordinate, or to touch on the matter lightly instead of going into it thoroughly so as to keep on good terms. The result is that both the organization and the individual are harmed. This is one type of liberalism.
This is one type of liberalism. And how does that fit the Biden and his son? If we have laws and we have the rule of law, that we are governed by law, because we playing their game now. Because we know in reality there's no rule of law. The imperialists are oppressing all of us, and we're trying to escape that oppression. That's why we're having this show. That's why we're here talking to you, to try to find people so we could change the conditions in our community, because there's no rule of law. You can't take the insurance companies to court. You don't have enough money. You're not strong enough. You can't take the politicians. You can't take nobody. You can't do nothing. You can't hold none of these people accountable because there's no rule of law, and we know that. Every single one of us know there's no rule of law. And the ignorance of these people is they show you that there's no rule of law. Trump get found guilty for 34, 35, whatever felonies he got. He don't go to prison. He ain't going to prison. But every single day, the children whose lives are snuffed out by the judicial system. Snuffed out. In fact, the news just broke like yesterday. The news broke. Biden pardoned a judge in Delaware that had a cash for kids thing in his court, whatever. They found him guilty, I think, in 2010, and they sent him to prison because he was just sending kids away to juvie for cash. He was getting paid to send kids away. Juvenile, send them away to prison. Biden pardoned him, too. Where's the rule of law? And that's what Mao is saying. If there's no rule of law, if we do things because it's our family member or close acquaintance, and we do, it's going to destroy the whole organization. Don't you agree? Don't that make sense to you? Why wouldn't we listen to Mao? Who should we listen to? Biden? Biden that tell us I'm not going to pardon my child if he gets found guilty by the jury, the fake juries that let Neely. They found his killer not guilty too. The judge came down and gave an order for the killer, Daniel Penny, the killer of Jordan Neely in New York. He used to be the Michael Jackson impersonator dancing on the train. Dude came on and choked him and killed him. Bro not going to jail. He get to walk. You walk up on the train, you choke somebody. You're not no cop. Who told you could put your hands to somebody? What made you think you could put your hands to somebody? and then you kill them, and then you walk, because there's no rule of law. But if it was somebody in the hood, they're selling bags of weed, they're selling coke in the hood, the police come and shoot them, they're justified. Or they could come lock them up, they'll go to jail. Biden said it. You saw Biden? If they get caught with that little piece, but you could snuff somebody's life out on the train, and nobody goes to jail. Nobody's held accountable.
One second, can you hear me?
Go ahead.
Even this last week, had a post up on social media about the cops harassing young black men that walking into the store. And you should have seen the comment section. A lot of people thought that was okay and justified.
Yeah, because they've been miseducated to believe that these actions, you can do what you want to these group of people, and it don't matter. They blame those people for what happened to them. You shouldn't. I remember the post. I know the post you're talking about. She's saying they shouldn't be in that area. It's a known drug area. They live there. He's talking about. I go there. I go buy food from margaritas. So if I'm in you gotta mute your thing. If I'm in margaritas shopping, getting me some eggs and some sausage or whatever, getting me some pancakes, and the police come in and they start throwing me against the wall, like, how is that my fault? Because it's a drug area. The whole of North is a drug area. The mayor's office is probably a drug area. You need to start there. Start at City Hall. But they come in the communities and do what they want to do. And we all know in these communities there is no rule of law. They do what they want. Every day, they do what they want in our communities. And like I said, as Panthers, in this organization that we have, the people that belong to this organization, these are the rules we follow. We stand for active ideological struggle. So let me carry on. Let's get to the meat of the whole thing now. Where was this at? Let me see.
In the media throughout the 2024 presidential race, and he's joining us now at the table. Please welcome.
Going around right now, a lot of this.
You heard what she said? Charlamagne the God has been a vocal force. Why? Why is he being a vocal force? Why is he allowed to speak for him? What does he know about us? When did he live amongst us to know anything about us, to know about our lives, speak for anything that people are going through out here? People homeless out here. People getting robbed of their homes out here. What does he know about any of that to speak for us? But they anointed him. They anointed him. He come on with the little sweater. I don't know who he got on the sweater. I don't know if that's Harriet Tubman. I don't know who he got on the sweater. This is all supposed to show like knowledgeable. They bring these clowns on to come speak for us. Now they're talking about the Biden party. I want you to hear what they're saying. Remember, we just listen to what we go about. We just listen to the ethics that we have, the rules that we listen to, that we go by. You don't just let nobody slide because they're your family member. Listen to them.
Conversation about President Biden getting criticized from both sides of the aisle for pardoning his son Hunter after repeatedly saying he would never do it. And a lot of people are saying that it's hypocritical, etc.
If you can't see the video, this is the view. With Whoopi Goldberg, Charlamagne the God disagree on Hunter Biden pardon. I mean, we're showing Charlamagne is about to speak. That is Joy Reid that speak, not Joy Reid, Joy Behar that's speaking. And these videos that I bring, I don't use videos because people are gonna say you're extremist, you're this. So I bring stuff on here that they have out there for people to consume. What the hegemony want people to watch. Mainstream. You can't get no more mainstream than The View. This stuff make me want to throw up in my mouth every time I listen to these people. But I have to listen to them because I have to bring you what they're saying. So listen to what these people are saying.
As if the other side doesn't do it. But what's your reaction to it?
I mean, I think all of the criticism is valid because, you know, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time, and, you know, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, you know, whether or not, you know, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right now. But since
now, Charlemagne, the guy that they brought on here to speak that with his powerful voice, you hear what he's saying? Listen to how debased these people are. Just listen to his morality. You know, the only problem he has is that the Democrats are standing on the high ground. The high ground is the rule of law. That's what he's calling the high ground. The Democrats should not be on the high ground. The Republicans should not stand on the high ground. Both of them should be on the low ground. In other words, both of them shouldn't even go by the rule of law when they're in those positions of power that are supposed to be working for the people. They're supposed to be maintaining the rule of law. He's saying, why Democrats always trying to stand on the rule of law? He shouldn't have just said that. He should just pardon them. But he's saying because Biden said it, because Biden said he wasn't going to do it, and now that he did it, like, he looks bad. That's all he looks bad.
They were calling Trump a threat to democracy, and they were saying that, you know, nobody's above the law, but they were speaking about him. That's what they were running on. So when he kept saying things like, oh, you know, nobody's above the law, I respect, you know, the jury's decision in regards to my son, he didn't believe that. But he didn't have to volunteer that lie to begin with.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't.
And this is Whoopi. What makes Whoopi qualified to be a speaker for any of us? That's what her identity on this show is supposed to be. She's supposed to be here because she's speaking for black people. Like what gives her credibility to sit up here and speak to us about politics? You were an actor. You were a court jester. That's all you've done your whole life. Do you have did you study history? Like you heard Carter G. Woodson talking about all the work he did, all the study, the degrees he got, what degrees you should get. He said you should get a degree in sociology. Do you have a degree in sociology, Whoopi? Well, Whoopi was just famous from the movies she made in the 80s and some in the 90s, and they just stuck her up there because she's a famous black person, so they just stuck her up there until they started giving her opinions. They pay her millions of dollars for her to give the opinions that the people who pay her want her to give. And she's sitting up here saying Biden didn't lie. How you know Biden didn't lie? She jumped out of her skin to defend Biden. Biden didn't lie. Why should anybody be listening to Whoopi?
Don't know why he changed
You
it.
really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all
No,
of a sudden?
I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over.
This is what they brought her up there to do. Nothing intellectual, nothing based on data, nothing based on science. I think he did it because the other side keep getting over. That's how you make your analysis. That's how you hold the rule of law depending on what the other political side do. That's what you do. That's what you're up there to tell people. That's what you have that platform for. Yo, these people are weird. Like I said, if you can't see the video, that was Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg. I don't think she's ever been pro-black in her life. But she's up there, supposed to be speaking for black people, black women. And that's the only reason she's up there. She's not qualified to be on that space either.
And this is just my feeling, because at some point you get to the place where you just go, so I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that go out. They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground.
Listen,
they don't have to do that.
I'm a Democrat. Tell me what the moral high ground is.
The moral high ground is nobody's above the law. I respect what the jurors are saying. You don't have to do that.
So we're mad at him because he changed his.
Oh no. By the way, I'm not mad at him pardoning Hunter Biden.
But you sound like you're
No.
If I can get in on this, I actually think it went further, and this is one thing we really disagree on. Joe Biden made a point of saying we stand by our institutions and the impartiality of the Department of Justice.
Yes.
Democrats ran on that. The same DOJ indicted Hunter Biden. How we shouldn't be saying it's corrupt like Donald Trump does, but then in his statement pardoning Hunter Biden, he says that it was a political pursuit by his own Department of Justice.
Can you explain to me why it is that when Joe Biden does something, everybody clutches their pearls? He's wrong.
Nobody
he lied.
Criticized Donald Trump more than me or Charlamagne the God.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
Listen to the argument that she's making. Whenever Joe Biden does something, people clutching their pearls. What is she talking about? We don't have pearls in the hood. I don't think I've ever seen anybody with pearls in the hood. But she's up there as a Democratic operative. She's not out there to speak her mind or speak to the people. They're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. I would say a Democratic operative, and one is a Republican maybe. She calls herself independent, whatever she would call herself. But I had to suffer myself to watch that.
People have criticized him more.
This is another one, Megyn Kelly.
Wix gives you the power of AI to build the website you need with full business functionality and a design tailored.
The other problem with it for the left is that they're
the DOJ, right? That was the whole argument around Donald. The latest attack has been that Joe Biden has politicized and weaponized the DOJ, right? That was the whole argument around Donald Trump's conviction. And this week, of course, Hunter Biden was found guilty, and Joe Biden has very clearly said he would not pardon his son, he would not commute his sentence. How stark is this difference? I mean, how can Republicans keep making this argument now that Joe Biden has really put it out there? Where's Hunter? And he stood there in a courtroom, flanked by his family, and he's accepted his sentence.
The current president of the United States has so much respect for the law that he has said he would not pardon his son. I mean, again, it's all about the contrast.
President Biden saying, I will respect whatever this jury decides, versus Donald Trump after he was convicted on 34 counts, saying the entire system is rigged against him.
He is not pardoning his son, which he could do. These are federal charges. Right. He is not doing that. He is not doing it because he is living what it means to have a rule of law in this country. He did not pardon his son. He did not order the Department of Justice to say, don't prosecute my son. So impressive. Contrast is so clear in terms of decency and principle and transactional guidance in terms of how you view the world. What is before us is a president who is living the rule of law. He is living it in the most personal way. What he is actually living by is his own son is being prosecuted, and he is allowing the norms that are required to live in a democracy to go forward.
Learn about biobanking accreditation.
Getting a little misty-eyed, Rich.
Those clips are small little sliver of clips of Democrats. When Hunter Biden was found guilty and Biden said, I'm not going to pardon him, he's going to have to serve his time. You see, earlier when we was listening to Carter G. Woodson, I said I disagree with Carter G. Woodson because these people know what they're doing. You can't simply just talk to them and try to get them to change their mind because they understand there's an economic component to it. It's the same thing here. You can't talk to no Democrats and hit them with real data, with real analysis, they're not listening to what you're saying. They're going to lie to you to your face, and then when the situation switches over, they're going to lie again. They're not coming from a sincere space to have a dialogue, to have ideological struggle. They're liars. Because all those people that were talking about how Biden was so courageous, how Biden is this, how Biden is that, for not pardoning his son, as soon as Biden pardoned his son, they went on the other side. They found another way to justify the opposite of him not pardoning his son. They're like water. Like you can't hold them to nothing. They have nothing. They have no philosophical ideology. They have nothing to hold on to. You can't do business with people like that. You can't organize with people like that. You can build nothing, build no institutions. All those people are useless to changing the conditions on the ground. Because they're all political operatives. They believe what they believe according to who's paying them. And if you're not paying them, they're not listening to you. They're just lying to you. Let me skip forward. I want to give you a little bit more of that. Let me see, where is it at? 2:15. Let me see. I doubt it's 2:15. Give me a second. Let me see if I can find it. There she go. 10:47.
Norms and institutions. And here she was this morning.
Molly, fast and furious. What do you make of this new news?
Supposed to work. Period, paragraph. End of. You know, the jury found him guilty. This is how it's supposed to work. Period, paragraph. End of story.
I don't have a take. I'm sorry.
New news.
I just heard it. I have to process it. I don't have a take. I'm sorry.
They had her on 1 second. She was saying he's not going to pardon his son. He's not going to do that. That's what he's supposed to do. I don't know. Oh, my God, he's so great of a leader. Then they fast forward. They fast forward to when Biden pardoned his son, and the camera come to her to ask her what she thinks. I don't know what to think. I gotta think about it, because she got to come up with a lie. She got to come up with a lie to justify her getting whatever money they're giving her for her to push their ideas. This is how politics work in America. This is how the electoral process works. It is a useless process. Nobody should even be playing in that field. Nobody that's talking about working for the people should even be in the field. Because it's all a scam. They're all scammers. Let me see if I got any more video from here. 1240. I don't know what you said at 1240. 1240. Let me see. Oh, that's a more. That's a more line.
Planning. Megan Hayes.
I do think with some of the nominations that Trump has put up, I think it probably caused a little bit of worry for him. But also, I think people have to remember the president has lost 2 children already, and he does not need to lose another one to more political, witch hunts that the president is calling them. He worries about Hunter going to jail. There's a lot of things wrapped up in this. But I think at the end of the day, the president made a decision as a father to keep his son out of jail and out of harm's way moving forward. He, again, does not want to lose another son. He has lost 2 children already, and he does not want this to go on any further once he leaves office. That's
Megan Hayes, former Biden, whatever, Democratic operative. But that's who she is. And this is the excuses that they're giving. That's his son. That's his only son alive. And he doesn't want his son to go to jail. What kind of rule of law is that? What kind of rule of law is that? You see, but I don't think you really understand what I mean by rule of law, because you got to hear them. You must need to hear them talking about this rule of law. You must need it. You got to. It's better in the Bahamas.
Come see us doing live shows.
No one is
above the law.
Nobody.
This is the Jimmy Dore Show. He's about to show all. You about to listen. If you can't see it, you're about to hear Democrats from Nancy Pelosi, from Jeffries, from all of them talking about the rule of law.
Watch this.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law. Nobody is above the law.
No one is above the law. No one is above the law. No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law.
The clown show. The clown show, because they're all clowns. Nobody's above the law. But we sit here every day and we see people are above the law. We see people getting pardoned left and right. We see who he's pardoning. You know who he's not pardoning? All the revolutionaries that are still locked up like Mumia Abu-Jamal. None of those people are getting pardoned. You don't hear about nobody talking about those people. You even listen to shows like Amy Goodman. She's talking about Leonard Peltier, that they're doing something to get Leonard Peltier out of prison. Nothing about none of the black freedom fighters.
Chairman,
go ahead.
They're about to go sentence Yashali O'Malley from the Uhuru movement. He's a frequent individual that comes to Newark. I assume he has a relationship with the mayor because he supports him when he goes to the source book and stuff. But no one in Newark is talking about this. This man and his movement is about to go face federal prison because they're, revolutionaries according to them.
Yeah, we should have put something on the screen about that too. We should have had a video or something to show about that. But Chairman Yashiteli from the Uhuru movement, the Biden administration took him to court and they said he was an agent for Russia because he went to Russia and he gave some speeches. He traveled all the way around. Bruh, dude is like, I think he's like 80-something years old. He's been in the movement since the 60s. He's been saying America is oppressing black people since the 60s. But the Biden administration, Biden, are the one that took him to court to try to say he's a spy because this is their new ways of attacking organizations that are against what they're pushing. Nobody is talking about that. Nobody's telling Biden to give him clemency. None of these black people that you see, Whoopi Goldberg, all these people are not speaking for none of those black people. None of those people, none of those freedom fighters that gave their whole lives fighting for our people. They don't speak about them. But that's the clown show. They're clowns. Because they could stand up there in these spaces and scream rule of law. The people know there's no rule of law. That's why they can't win elections no more. That's why Trump beat them. Because Trump used real politics. Trump tell the people, the whole system is screwed. Because he know the people know the system is screwed. He don't lie to them. Democrats come up here and lie and talk about rule of law. Rule of law. Rule of law. When we're watching lawlessness everywhere around us, the landlords can do whatever they want. Corporations can do what they want. Everybody get away with crimes. They could blow up a train in Ohio, East Palestine, Ohio. They blew up a train with chemical weapons on it when they didn't have to blow up the train. You see, you don't know about it because you're not out there in Ohio. You ain't going through that. And they wonder why they lose Ohio in the elections. They blew up a train. Everybody out there catching cancer. Right now, in America, the train derailed. So instead of them doing what they need to do to make sure that the people were not impacted by the train derailing, they blew up the train so they could get business moving more quicker. So now everybody over there, the water poisoned, the air poisoned, they're not giving people enough money. I think they came up with a settlement that was like a drop in the bucket. This happened 2-3 years ago. It's nowhere in the news. You're not seeing it nowhere in the news because the news is bought and paid for. That's the reality that we're living in. Lawlessness all over the place. This is Jared Ball and Kamar Franklin. This is them speaking about the same thing, about Biden pardoning his son. Let's see where their political philosophy is. Let's see what they say.
You know, I think we all would have pardoned our kid if they got locked up.
I don't necessarily disagree with that, but I wouldn't spend months telling people I won't do it.
That's the thing for me, and it's not. Of course, I'm not letting my kid go to jail if I can stop it.
Because they belong to nothing bigger than themselves. Because they have no philosophy that they hold on to. Because they're liberals. The person I was saying that you didn't see on the screen, his name is Ear Doctor. And then Kamar Franklin said, I don't necessarily disagree with that. And then Gerald Ball said, I'm not locking my child up. If your child did something to be locked up, smoking crack, driving on camera, other people are getting locked up in the system that you say you're in position of power to uphold, and you're not locking your child up, you're a liberal. You don't deserve to be in that position. But they don't even understand that. Because Kamar was the one that was just holding up that red book. He was just holding up that red book by Mal. Did you read what Mal said in the book? Did you take that to heart? Or you just holding up to show like you know about Mal for credibility? You see, like, if this is not an attack, I'm not attacking you. I'm not attacking Kamar. I'm not attacking Jared Ball. They're wrong. They're wrong. There's no organization you're going to belong to. You can't, because like you're saying, I wouldn't lock my daughter up. He said he wouldn't lock it. That means you're in position not to lock them up. You're the president. And you're the one that's sitting on top of this whole edifice, this whole system, everything is under you, and you're controlling all these institutions, and these institutions are supposed to work according to how you're leading them. And you saying you're not going by the rule of law either. You're going to free your children too. And now we get to this. Everybody know this by now. What was last week? Last week sometime, we saw the video, and everybody was going crazy about the video online, everywhere. It was all on the media. Bro walked up and straight popped the CEO.
Once again, as the gunman who murdered the head of the largest U.S. health insurer appears to have left New York City on a bus shortly after the deadly attack. The New York City Police Department providing those new details, saying it appears the killer left something behind, a backpack you just saw there that was found over in Central Park. Now, the shooter does remain on the run 3 days after United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was gunned down as he walked from his Midtown Manhattan hotel across the street to the company's annual investor conference. NYPD did say investigators are looking into whether the shooter could have been a disgruntled employee or client of the insurer, but they also added that this does appear to be a targeted attack. Take a look right here as NYPD did release photos of a smiling person they describe as a, quote, person of interest wanted for questioning in Thompson's murder, but they stopped short of labeling the person in the pictures as the actual gunman. Video, though, showing the gunman taking off after shooting Thompson, riding a bike to Central Park, then later taking a taxi to a bus terminal that offers commuter service to New Jersey and Greyhound routes to Philadelphia, Boston, and Washington, D.C. The gunman reportedly arriving in New York City on November 24th, 10 days before breakdown.
Into this is
Unmasked and smiling, police released new photos of a person of interest seen at a New York hostel where they believe the suspected gunman was staying. In this disturbing video, a masked man takes aim, shooting Brian Thompson.
Paul, what's going on in New York? We were just talking about it. That CEO got fucking whacked.
Oh, my God, dude.
You know what's funny? I was sitting there reading an article.
It was everywhere. This is on the Bill Burr. He's a comedian. This was on his podcast, and they were discussing it. Hey, yo, just listen to what he says about this.
Guy, they go, oh my God, he's such a great guy. He had wife and kids, and he's such a great guy. And then you find out he and the other guys he's working for are getting sued for $121 million for dumping his stock and not letting the other people know.
In the lawsuit, he and multiple other United Health executives are accused of offloading something like 15 million shares of stock.
It's like, there's your motive.
Dude, anytime I hear CEO of one of the biggest healthcare, it's like, you don't wish it on anybody. You feel horrible for his kids and his wife, of course. But, dude, when I saw that, and I saw...
What is more heartless than a fucking CEO of a corporation? The decision in healthcare, the decisions that they make, this is the thing. I'm not saying what happened should have happened, but I'm just, for them to be like...
Our physicians report members initially received ineffective care because of PA-required step therapy. 64% got received ineffective care. Physicians reported, I can't see what's behind that, PA led to higher utilization of healthcare services, resulting in unnecessary waste rather than cost. Physicians report that PA led to avoidable urgent or emergency care. I don't understand what this is saying, General Secretary.
It's saying I think the first one said 80% of physicians reported. So that's the percentage, the numbers. The second one is 64% of physicians report members initially received ineffective care. Then we have 46% of physicians report that PA led to avoidable urgent or emergency care. And then 33% of physicians report PA delays led to an adverse event such as hospitalization, permanent impairment, and death. The PA should be prior authorizations. So basically you need to get approval before you see doctors.
Yeah, that from the insurance companies. When people called in and try to, the insurance that they've been paying for, and they call in and try to get money from this insurance company to do the things that they said they were going to do. When people signed up for these contracts to pay money to these companies, and people like that, people like Brian Thompson, whatever his name is, people like that put barriers in the way of people getting the care that they need, and those people die. Thousands of people. Permanent impairment, death. That's what happened to thousands of people. And that's a question we got to ask ourselves. And people that are in charge of these large institutions that are not here organically, they're socially constructed. Because there's no reason why we should be paying an insurance company any money for them to give us any kind of health benefits or anything. We should be paying a private company. These are things that should be done straight out the government, if the government is for the people. All the taxes that we pay should be used, but we're paying private companies that cook the books. When you need these things to save your life, they make you homeless because you're going to have to mortgage your house. You got to sell your house because they deny you. So that Luigi, the person that they had, that they locked up, that they said shot that man in the head or shot him in the back, in the calf, wherever he shot him at. The person that shot him and the person that got shot, who is the worst person in society? Y'all really want to do the worst of two evils? You tell me, who is the worst in society? The person that shot that CEO for denying people coverage that they paid into? Or the person that denied the coverage? Who is worse? Who is worse?
Come see.
No, an AI did legitimate, number one.
Healthcare executive.
My bad. And I'm way out of that.
A person with brain cancer coverage.
Not like the system that millions of people get fucked.
Whether it was tied to Mr. Thompson's work.
Yeah, I'm
Thoughts?
trying to get...
Let me get this straight, Kurt. In America, where those with private insurance often find themselves in Kafkaesque tangles. Well, I'm in a tangle.
Oh, it's weird to not say that's dark. I mean, Kafka is pretty dark. You could just use the same descriptor that you used for the people that were rejoicing over this.
While seeking reimbursement for medical treatment and are often denied it.
You know why they got an AI to do it? Because I'll bet people that work there, it gets to them. So why? That's why we need an AI, a machine to tell you go fuck yourself.
Messages that law enforcement officials say were found on bullet casings at the scene. At the scene of the shooting in front of the Midtown Hotel, read delay, deny are two words familiar to many Americans who have interacted with insurance companies for almost anything other than routine doctor visits. Mr. Thompson was chief executive of his company's insurance division, which reported $281 billion in revenue last year.
Yeah, I go to my routine visit to get my Ozempic.
That's all the people that they deny coverage to. That's how you get $281 billion in revenue last year. All those people that died, that they were supposed to give coverage to, that they denied them coverage, so they could live where they live at. They could have security. They could fly in first class. They could go on vacations. They could live in mansions. They deny people that paid into the insurance. They deny them their coverage.
And then I'm like, hey, maybe check me out for problems. And they go, no, we don't cover that.
They're providing. They've got that money providing coverage, not actual health care, providing coverage, which they deny, to millions of Americans through the health plans it sold to individuals, employers, and people under government programs like Medicare. The division employs roughly 140,000 people. 140,000 people are a division?
Hey, look, we're not going to save your life, but we'll trans your kid.
Wow. All these very specific plans for sweeping change. A regular modern-day MLK, this guy will hate on that individual, and I bet that's going to change.
Wow. Who
in coverage after giving birth. It was so stressful, the user said in a video. I was sick over this.
I'm not...
Names, collections, and prayers to his family.
Yeah, he's out of my network, too, so I can't give a shit.
Boy, you know...
Eyes and his smile where he's merely...
Take over your treatment by the healthcare place. So this is from 2023. I'm sharing a GoFundMe later today because apparently the only way to keep yourself alive in this capitalist shithole is to crowdsource healthcare that big insurance companies like United Healthcare are allegedly supposed to provide. And then there's a picture of the guy. You exacerbated my father's agonizing battle with cancer until his final breath, and now you're trying to throw my mother's life away? United Healthcare just so your CEO, Brian Thompson, can take home tens of millions of dollars this year? You all deserve to rot in hell. I agree.
So look at him. Look at his picture.
You know, I was looking on it to find where they had the comments from people, because there's something really interesting that's been going on. You know, the people, the mass of the people on social media everywhere have been going on talking about yeah, we should have timestamps. You should look to what you call it, to make the timestamps, since you got all these ideas. But be that as it may, I was looking through the video to see the part of the video where the people were commenting and giving their opinion on how the insurance company has been functioning and what they think about Brian Thompson. That's what I've been looking, because they do. But anyway, listen to what the people have been saying about United Healthcare.
With his cold, dead eyes and his smile where he's merely showing teeth. Look at that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, 2 kids came out of his balls. I'm supposed to give a shit.
Saw mainstream news coverage about the killing of the CEO of United Healthcare on TikTok, and I think political and industry leaders might want to read the comments and think hard about them. Let's see. Want to see some of them? I'm sorry, prior authorization is required for thoughts and prayers. Sending prior authorization denies claims, collections, and prayers to his family.
Yeah, he's out of my network too, so I can't give a shit.
Boy, you know, facing these insurance executives facing this kind of rejection, they might as well be actors in Hollywood. Am I right, Kurt? Come on. Was his trip to the ER really emergency? According to his own company, my husband's heart attack wasn't an actual emergency, and we were out $3,000.
That's dark. Hey, that's hate.
Hey, that's hate. It's crazy what my first thought was, and then I look at the comments and I realize I'm not alone in my thoughts. Here's some more. I just can't find the care. Maybe if they ask for pre-approval of my care, then after they care their required deductible, I might be able to supplement some care. I can't even pretend to care. I hope he's looking up at us. Look at this. People loathe us. So the United Healthcare, this is at Facebook, and at Facebook you get to choose the emoji. So when they put out their thing about how they are sorry that this guy got killed, this is their company, United Health Group.
Yeah.
5,500 people put a laughing emoji there.
Wow, it's weird because Tim Waltz was really down too.
Yeah.
It's strange because he's such a man of the people.
Julie Nelson says, just a reminder that Brian Thompson, the CEO, who was just shot and killed, was a human being with a family. So
Let's
many
wait for the evidence.
Yeah.
You know, when I call these people lizard people, me and my girlfriend were arguing about it. She said, well, that's kind of dehumanizing. Like, do you know that they look at you as less than a lizard?
Yes, I'm sorry.
You're a bug.
Hey,
You're a fucking bug.
Julie, I'm sorry, but being a biped with car keys does not make you a full human. Not when you let that many people die on your watch.
Well, he was always talking about it.
Yeah, they have a robot. General Secretary, is that on here? Is there a clip of the robot on here?
Not the robot, just the article about the AI. Go back. You go back. One more slide. Yes, 2 slides about it.
United Healthcare accused of relying on AI algorithm to deny Medicare Advantage claims. In an October report, how Medicare Advantage insurers have denied patients access to post-acute care. Democrats on the U.S. Senate Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations released a report claiming United Healthcare prior authorization denial rate for post-acute care jumped from 10.9% in 2020 to 22.7% in 2022. Denial rates for skilled nursing centers in particular experienced particularly dramatic growth. The number of denied claims in 2022 was 9 times higher compared to 2019, according to the report. During the same period of time, the company implemented multiple initiatives to automate the process, according to the report. Nearly a year later, in November 2023, the nation's largest insurance company was hit with a class action lawsuit accusing it and its subsidiary, Navi Health, of relying on a computer algorithm to systematically deny claims of Medicare beneficiaries in nursing homes that had struggled to recover from debilitating illness. The suit claimed the company illegally deployed artificial intelligence in place of real medical professionals to wrongly deny elderly patients care owed to them under Medicare Advantage plans by overriding their treating physicians' determinations as to medically necessary care based on AI model. The suit also claimed the company knew this model has a 90% error rate. So they had a computer that called people that were in the hospital, that were sick, that were lying on their deathbed, trying to get care so they could survive. They had a computer calling them, telling them your claim was denied. And at a 90% rate, they were wrong. The computers were wrong at a 90% rate. So that CEO gets shot. Somebody killed that CEO that has killed thousands of people, destroyed thousands of families. And we're supposed to sit here and be upset. But you're seeing the people that's going through this, the people that are suffering through this insurance company, they're making comments. They're the ones posting. And I know the politicians see it. I know these people see it. I'm sorry to say things really not going to get any better. They're not. Because they're starting to see how much people hate them. They're just going to get more security and they're going to build higher walls to guard themselves away from the average person. But they're not going to change anything in the medical system. They're not. They may lie to you and say they're going to change things, but they're not changing nothing. The only thing we could do is walk away from these systems. We have children. We're sending our children to these universities to learn to be doctors and all these, whatever. Why are we not building institutions and organizations for them to come back and serve the community? But it's all our children that are taking all these jobs. But that's a conversation for another day. But like I said, this is the system we have now, where people feel like they have to kill CEOs on the street to get the message out. To get the message out like things are getting out of hand. But there's no rule of law. You can't go to the courts and get any redress. We live in a banana republic. And all of that is from the top. This is federal. Like, let's say we're talking about federal issues. When we come into our cities, how does these things play out in our city? Hey, can you come in, please, General Secretary? How do these things play out in our city? Because we live in a city where it's homes. There are homes all around us, but they're boarded up and people are sleeping on the streets. We have the worst gentrification effort in the whole country right here in North New Jersey. Hey, yo, try to see if you can go on Instagram so they can see it on the screen. I want to go show the video from what's his name? From the brother that we went to see the other day on North Is Now page. I want to go show that video. But like when there's no rule of law, when people don't respect authority, they don't even see it as authority. They see the police as an occupying force. They see the politicians as being corrupt. Everybody knows it. It's a normal thing now that we all believe that the politicians are corrupt. Once people start saying that, it's gonna be anarchy. It's gonna be anarchy. People gonna be doing their own thing. Like somebody gonna walk up and just shoot somebody right in Manhattan. Right in Manhattan. And to keep it a buck, as Panthers, we don't condone reactionary behavior. I think I go on Norgan now. I don't know if it's on this page. Go ahead, check on this page. Go to Rails. Go to Rails. Let's see if it's on this page. I don't know if that's it. Go back up. I don't know if that's it right here. Nah. You got to go on Norgan now. Nah, but let me see.
Once you find it, I got it here.
Right, there you go, it's right there. What you gotta do with it? Can they hear it? I can't hear nothing. Oh, it's right here.
For most of the day, I felt like I had wasted my time because everything that everyone...
All right, so the video started off by him saying he paid $400 to go to this event that was held in Newark, New Jersey, Newark Summit. It's about all the developers that are coming in to do business in the city. And I want you to hear the conversation. Just listen.
What I was talking about was things that I thought I already knew. However, it wasn't until the last panel when I finally felt like I got what I paid for. Check this out.
So yeah, if you look across the stage, there's not one guy doing politics in Newark that's underneath review.
When you look, these are all the people, some of the people that are doing business in the city of Newark, the management, the people that are doing the gentrification. And he's saying that you look across the stage, there's no one on this panel that's doing development in the city that has under 300 units. So you living in Newark as an individual, and you believe like all I got to do is go to school. Like you want to be into real estate, you want to own homes, you want to get into that field. All I got to do is go to school, get a degree there. Then I might go to work. I'm gonna be able to get into real estate, save my money, get into real estate. Yo, they're telling you, everybody that's on this stage is working on 300 units. In other words, you can forget about it. You're not getting on that stage unless you have, like, money, slavery money to be able to own 300 units, where you're a hedge fund company. You're coming from New York to buy property on the waterfront. So just understand right from the beginning, that's what it's telling you. Right there, there's nobody on this stage. And look at those people. Do they look like you? That's what you got to ask yourself. Do those people, all those white people on that stage, those white and Jewish people on that stage, do they look like you? And they keep listening to what he says.
So I think now with what we're doing over at 930 right on the waterfront, with L&M doing another great development right next to us, it's going to bring
L&M, that's one of the companies that's kicking people out, gentrifying. They don't fix nothing in the buildings, so people complain about the buildings. People end up moving out of the buildings.
Second trip, that's Georgia King Village. L&M owns Georgia King Village, and they, like he said, the biggest slumlord. Just to put the bill, because a lot of people don't know who the buildings that these developers own. Yeah. L&M owns Georgia King Village. And I know a lot of Norkers live there or have family that live there that have been complaining for decades. The city is going to award them more money to build projects and developments.
Why the community, why the people that live in Georgia King Village are going to court trying to hold these people accountable, the mayor is on platforms like this with those people, at the table with those people, and we are the ones at the menu. He's bringing us up there for them to eat. He's feeding them our homes, and they're giving them crumbs. They're making him a millionaire.
More consumers to the market. New York's land costs in regards to what the rents are, I think we have very favorable metrics that's going to bring a lot more developers into the market, and I think the rising tide is just going to continue to let New York get higher and higher rent.
There you go right there. That's what the developers are telling you. A rising tide is going to get them to get higher and higher rents. Is that what the community is fighting for, higher and higher rents? But these are the people that have a platform to do work in our community. We keep talking about North, we from North. These are the people that control North, that control these blocks. We don't control nothing. Until we get organized, we don't control nothing. Because he could sit up there and do all his talking that he want to do. If the people in North don't want them here, they won't be here. If we organize, they won't be here. If we join organizations, come together, have these meetings to strategize on how we're going to fight back, they won't be here. They have no shot. They have no shot. You think the one with the mic, if you can see him, there's a gentleman there with the mic. Yo, do you think he cares about anybody in North? Cares about any of the families in North? Yo, it's just a bottom line. Push out all these families to bring in a new family that makes more money. That's all they care about. They don't care about your families. So when you go to vote, when you go to participate in the electoral process, you're just putting these people in power. You're just telling these people that this system is beneficial. This is the system that I want, because you're giving it credibility instead of walking from it so we can build our own system.
Here are two things that stood out to me. North's land costs in regards to what the rents are favorable metrics. And I think a rising tide will continue to allow North to get higher and higher. I understand North developers want to make North more attractive by building more apartment buildings and more experiences. My question is whether that can be done while also thinking about the legacy Norkers and the native Norkers that were here for a very long time before the developers got here. And I understand it's not the developers' job to think about the natives and the legacy Norkers, but someone has to think of them, because if not, they're going to get displaced.
And they are getting displaced. They are getting displaced. Can I just go on, or you got to come do something? But I just went here. That's cool. But yeah, we are getting displaced. You go look it up. Like I said, I always say it. Rutgers had a study. Rutgers made a study. Who owns North? And all these homes, all our homes belong to these corporations, these developers. They own everything. How? How do they own everything? The politicians wrote policies and made laws that enable them to steal our homes. So while we sit here and we're struggling and we're suffering, the politicians, the politicians are eating good. And let me show you
two sides of Newark, right under all this capitalism and wealth. This is how the people are living. 20 degrees outside.
With all those people, all those developers, all of them, that's where the people are right there. You see them sleeping downtown under the bridge. That's what's happening to real Norkers. That's what the study. That's what all the Rutgers University study. All the data is saying that the people are being pushed into the streets. And the people that are pushing them into the streets. Look at Ras Baraka. Look at Al Sharpton. Look at Pastor Bartley. They open up smoke shops. They open up cigar shops.
I know if the street have open, if they can be open now, you wrong with me. He made me to the deal. You want some bad news? Oh my goodness! Oh my God! 10 years old. Wow. How you doing? How's everything? Everything cool.
You see the mayor? That's Ras Baraka, the mayor of Newark, New Jersey. They open up. Let me let the video keep playing. They open up cigar lounges while people are starving.
I got you. Come on, big dog. We go back to Little League. All right, y'all, come on out to the exhibit beef.
As you do, Green.
Broad Street. It's it, y'all. Broad Street.
Executive, whatever, cigar emporium. The white people can't afford nowhere to live. You see, the bourgeois in the community, the middle class, Uncle Toms, Negroes in the community, they open up a cigar lounge. People are homeless, people are starving. They're opening up cigar lounges for them to lounge, to sit back and watch people suffer and get thrown into the streets and sleep in the streets. This is what they think they should be doing right now. While the Black Panther Party, we are here feeding people. Door to door, going to people's homes, bringing groceries. We have after-school programs. We're working with the community on housing. They're having cigar lounges while people are sleeping in the streets. You can see the mayor in this video. Let me see if I get to the video. You can see the wait. Where's the video at? Let me see. I can't find the video, well, but that's okay. But while people are on the streets, while people are sleeping in the streets, they are opening cigar lounges. Rahman Muhammad was in that video. Rahman Muhammad got him a sandwich store. They get him a sandwich store for his bootlicking and he's selling out. The real sad part is, there was a time, like his son, Rahman Muhammad's son, reached out to me. He was like, yo, I love the work that you're doing in the community. I forgot what I was trying to do. I think he was trying to put up the basketball court or something because the basketball rim was down. So I went over there when I did the little live, and I was like, look, I'm about to go down here and go get a basketball hoop to come put it back up so the kids could play basketball out here in the summertime. If anybody want to chip in, whatever. Yo, he called me up. He was like, yo, I get paid, whatever. I'm going to send you a couple of dollars. Rahman Muhammad, he called himself White Boy. He sent me a couple of dollars for me to go buy it. I went and bought it. We put the backboard up and all of that. A couple of months later, his father opened up the restaurant. And I'm telling people, don't go to that restaurant. Don't support this deputy mayor. He's part of the team that's out here gentrifying our community, gentrifying our homes. Yo, you know, this dude called my phone threatening me, all of this. He like, yo, don't you talk about my father. Don't you talk about my family. I don't care what he does. Yo, that's not how we work as Panthers. And Panther, just because you gave me $200 to go buy a basketball thing to go put up, whatever you gave me, that don't mean if your father out here in the administration that's making people homeless, got them sleeping under bridges, you think I'm not going to say anything about it just because I know you? It don't work like that. So he's made a couple of threats. I saw him. He was riding a little scooter. I pulled up next to him like, hey, yo, what's up, bro? Because he was talking a lot of slick talk on the social media and all. I pulled up next to him like, what's up, bro? Like, so he could get off whatever he got on his chest off. He said, I'm good. I'm like, all right. And he kept on riding. I kept on riding. But every time his father get mad at me, he go on social media and start putting up fake stuff about, I'm not even going to go into that. But they start putting up stuff, making comments. Only them. Only the politicians. Yo, I have no issues with nobody in the city of Newark. The only people that have a problem with what we do, feeding the people, helping to house the people, pig patrols, all of these things, the after-school program, the only people that have an issue with it is the people that work down in City Hall and their children and family members, their acquaintances. But the whole city riding with me. Because the city see me. The city see us. They see us in the community. They see us bringing food. They see us. They don't see you. They don't see none of y'all standing up against these people. But without the rule of law, things that happen in New York are going to happen here. People are going to get tired. I mean, it's in history. Like, go look down at history. When what we're going through right now in Newark, New Jersey, wherever you live at, in all our communities, the hell we catching now is reminiscent to the Gilded Age. Is reminiscent to the French Revolution. The wealth inequality we have right now is why them politicians and them people got their heads cut off in the French Revolution. Off with his head. Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake. It's like open up a cigar lounge while people are sleeping outside on the floor. Y'all out there grinning, opening up restaurants while everybody's getting kicked out of their homes. They're boarding up people's homes. And yet on panels with all the developers grinning and shucking and jiving. How long you think before somebody do something reactionary? Because we're not reactionary. As Panthers, we get up and we put institutions in the community to serve the people. Because violence is going down in New York and Manhattan, killing that CEO. They're going to have another CEO before he even drop on the ground. You see, that's reactionary. You're a reactionary person. You have no political education. Luigi had no political education. He was lost. I wish he had got in contact with the Panthers. I wish he would have hit us up. We would have told him, look, you got a little bit of bread, bring that bread. Let's get a bigger after school program. Let's feed people. No, you know what? You ain't even got to come. Wherever you at, open up a Panther branch over there so we could start feeding people. But we could start creating doctors to come and serve the people in the community. Bro, you in school? Because he got his master's. General Secretary, what degrees he had?
I don't remember, but he does have a master's. Oh, I think it has to computer engineering or
computer engineering.
Something so smart stuff.
Well, we could have used you. We could have used you in the revolution, man. Computer engineering. You could teach us. We got a problem putting this show together. We be having issues, and this show is to reach out to people, to reach more people like Mangione, whatever. You don't have to go do something. something reactionary like that, throw the rest of your life away, being sitting in a jail cell, you could come help build the foundation of a revolutionary force. That's what we're telling everybody. Go to school. Go be a doctor. Come back and bring that service to your community. We worried about the healthcare system. Let's create our own healthcare system. Walk away from theirs. Because people got on blinders. They only think like, is this system or nothing? It's a whole world out there. We can build our own system as people, as the masses. We can build our own system. We don't have to rely on their system. The same way they built their system, we can build ours. But first we have to accept we are all on the plantation, that these institutions have failed us. We have to accept that. When you could have people sleeping outside at the train station, 20 degrees weather, and these people are inside with their coats on at a cigar lounge, celebrating opening a cigar lounge. You don't care about the people. You only care about yourself. General Secretary, you have anything to add?
No, I don't.
Yeah. Anybody got something to add? That's it for today's show. Hey, before y'all even say something, I want this to be more interactive. Whoever is here, we need this to be more interactive. I don't want to be talking the whole 2 hours, however long we on here. I want this to be more interactive, where it's more conversational. So, help me figure out how to do it this way. But I do bring the format. We got to go through the book. We got to read the book, and then we talk about the issues. But when we talk about the issues, I want it to be a back and forth. Even when we're doing the book, when you hear something while we're listening about the book, say something. You see something, say something. You feel me? Except for when it's shooting the CEO. But anybody got something? General Secretary, you see anything? Because I'm about to end it.
Just want to say it's an awesome program, and I like the clip. Chairman Afrikan, I love all your clips. But the clip about all those people making those comments about that CEO of United Healthcare, let me tell you something. When you have a loved one in a hospital, you're already in a frenzy anyway, thinking if that person's going to live. You're thinking to yourself whether they're going to give you good health care. And as you can see, all those negative comments he was receiving, people are damn mad about that. You're going to choose an algorithm over just a human determining whether I need additional health care. I wish, like you said, that can be, we can do that with politicians. Nail them to the cross just like they just nailed that guy to the cross. Then I think we can get more done. But as always, an awesome show.
All power to the people. All power to the people. They will be held accountable, because sociologically, I went to school for sociology, and it tells you when society, these conditions are all in play, these are the things that happen. Like somebody walking up in New York and shooting a CEO and killing a CEO on the streets of New York, stuff like that don't happen. But when you spend 40, 50 years killing people, systematically denying people the help that they need, people are going to react like this. It is normal behavior for vigilantes to come about when there's no rule of law. And I'm telling you, wherever state you're in, however these politicians are managing that community, if this is how they're doing it, if people are sleeping outside in the streets and they're inside with their coats on, in a heated room, in a cigar lounge, smoking cigars, just that picture in your mind. These people, black people, smoking cigars while other black people are in the streets, sleeping in the streets, 20 degrees weather.
Absolutely, Chairman. I want to comment on that too. That's horrible. You're going to open up a cigar, like you just said, when people are out there just starving, you're going to open up. Why couldn't it have been a food pantry? Why couldn't it have been something else that can help the people? A cigar? I make a bet. I wonder if that's going to be in business for a year. I can make a bet on that. Come on, how many people smoking that many damn cigars? Give me a break. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Hey, until next time, all power to the people. I live for the people. I die for the people. We're going to end on Bezu words right there. All power to the people. Secretary General, you got to come do your work. This right here, this is the food that we be giving out. That's Captain Patience right there, and that's me over there sitting there. We packed the whole truck. We packed the truck up. As much stuff we could put in. Sometimes we do like 2-3 trips. We pack the truck up with all the food, the groceries, and we deliver them to people's homes, people that are hungry. If you know anybody that's hungry, you give them our number. We will drop the food off at their door. Yo, you look through that box, man. We got some good stuff in there. Look at the meat. Got the meat, got the eggs, got the milk. What's that, almond milk? People out here eating. We feeding them. I mean, ain't nobody got to starve out here. That's what you do. That's how you serve the people. And everything is free. Nothing we do is for money. Everything is free. If you want to help us out, we have the merch, the merchandise. We have the Black Panther hoodies, the Black Panther t-shirts. You put in an order, and we will get that to you. We use all that money to fund everything that we do. Everything that we do, we fund it ourselves. There's no money coming from no nonprofit, NGO, or any of that. That's the work that we do, man. The after-school program, I love the after-school program. That's my baby right there, because that's the closest thing to me to a school. But till next time, all power to the people. I live for the people. I die for the people.